Hi, what's your name, your department, and how many years at UNC?
I'm Darrius Barrow, Director of Student Life and Leadership in the Carolina Union, and I've been at UNC for a year and a month now.
Awesome. And where do you call home?
Where I call home? So I grew up in Eastern North Carolina. New Bern, North Carolina is where I'm from. If you've ever had a Pepsi Cola, it's the birthplace of Pepsi. But now I'm here in the Triangle living in West Cary.
Awesome. And were you a first-generation undergrad or graduate student?
Yeah, first-generation undergrad. My dad was in the military. My mom was a daycare worker, so I was the first of the bunch to go to college.
And what was your major in college?
So I came here starting out as a business major, took a couple of business courses, said it wasn't for me, and ended up in back then, it was called the J School, but what people know as Hussman now, so.
And what was the most challenging part of your college experience?
I think the most challenging part of my college experience was I grew up in a big family, really old school, traditional, so we were always together. And then coming to college, I was kind of by myself, so just kind of getting used to doing things on my own, finding my own path, and just missing home was probably the biggest challenge for me.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself?
If I could go back in time, I would tell myself to make sure you're present, make sure you're in the moment, because you don't want it to pass you by.
Okay. Describe, how did you get into student affairs?
So I tell people all the time, I didn't find student affairs found me. I actually wanted to get into athletics. And so I was working on my master's in sports management, and then I got an email over a listserv, Student Activities and Organizations was looking for a graduate assistant. Didn't know anything about student activities, didn't know anything about student organizations. All I knew is that they paid for tuition and I needed a job. So I got the job as a grad assistant, and then the rest was history.
What brought you to UNC-Chapel Hill exactly?
So I did my undergrad here, class of 2010, woo-woo! So this is coming back home for me. That's why I wanted to be in the pit, because I used to walk these bricks as a student. I love the Carolina vibe, I love the Carolina environment, so the opportunity to come back here and be here, it's a simple no-brainer. I love everything about this place.
Love it. What's the biggest misconception about your department?
I think the biggest misconception about student life and leadership is that we focus on things just outside of the classroom, when actuality, we do a lot of classroom instruction things, and we have a lot of things happening with our SEED program that people can engage kind of curricular-wise as well.
What makes your department special?
What makes our department special is literally the people, and I mean the pro staff, the grads, and the undergrad students. I think that this is probably one of the best teams and best environments I've ever been a part of, and honestly, I couldn't see doing my job with any other group of people. Like, the people really make the work special, what we do in SLL.
What's the most interesting thing you've learned on your job so far?
The most interesting thing that I've learned on my job, oh God, I don't even know where to start. I think when you do a lot of different things, have a lot of different moving parts, you learn a lot of things about people, you learn a lot about locations, you just learn a lot about just how the world works. And I think the interesting thing is that no two days, I should say, are the same. And I think that's the most interesting, and really for me the best part, that it's not a cookie cutter 9 to 5. It's literally every day's an adventure in SLL, and I love every minute of it. That's why I lead at UNC.
Finish a sentence. If I didn't work in student affairs, I would.
God, if I didn't work in student affairs, then that means I hit the lottery, because this work and what we do is really my passion, it's my purpose, and I really don't see myself doing anything else but this right now.
Love that. What's your favorite spot on campus?
We're in my favorite spot on campus. I love people watching, I love the vibe and the environment, so my favorite spot on campus is the pit. It's always been since I came here in 2006, and it's still my favorite spot today, just sitting on the bricks, watching people, seeing people, talking to people, your friends, and just learning about what's going on, hearing music, and just kind of just being in the vibe. This is literally the Carolina experience.
What's your favorite memory from your time at Carolina?
My favorite memory from my time at Carolina was the 2009 National Championship game. We were rushing Franklin Street at halftime. That's how great of a night that was. So just being here, being a part of a national championship experience in men's basketball, that was probably one of the best experiences ever.
Nice, cool. Girls, what is something on your bucket list?
That's a hard question because there's a lot of things I want to do. I actually do want to go to a Super Bowl. I've never been to a Super Bowl. I do want to go to a Super Bowl. That's one of the things on my bucket list. Before it's all said and done, I want to go to a Super Bowl. Darrius Barrow, Director for Student Life and Leadership in the Carolina Union. I lead at UNC, and you can come find us in Suite 2501 in the Carolina Union.